Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a really special Cimarron with Outlaw Conversions sitting behind us. I want you to bear with us as we walk through this trailer. It's got a ton of options that we want to show you and a really new cool feature on this trailer that we teamed up with Cimarron and designed on this trailer. So this is the big reveal on that actual option that we're now offering. So we're going to walk you through this 2026 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters behind us. Like I mentioned, it's got an Outlaw conversion. Before we start walking you through the trailer, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawings. On the Cimarron side, this is a 4-horse living quarters. It is the iPod. This trailer is 37.3 on the floor. This is a 6'10" short wall with the slide out. It is 8 foot wide. It is 7'10" tall, okay? And then again on the Outlaw side, we're a 6'10" with that slide. We're really excited. This is a dual entry, so you can walk into the LQ portion, the living area, and then also into the bathroom. So again, we're gonna walk through. This thing has a lot of stuff on it, and we wanna show you everything. So we just wanna take our time and make sure we don't miss anything. We'll just start here at the front. Underneath the gooseneck, you're gonna notice first is the roll-up door. So this does have that enclosed front end. I love it because I think it aesthetically is pleasing. I think it really finishes the trailer off. It's a sharp looking trailer as it is. This guy here will protect everything we have underneath the actual trailer, underneath the gooseneck itself. This has the dual electric over hydraulic jacks on it, so it's great from a stability standpoint, leveling it out. Anytime we get into a slide out trailer from Cimarron, they're going to want to put the dual jacks on it. Right here, this is going to be our hydraulics for our slide out. It is an HWH slide out, so we have that portion of it right there. As you notice, we did a battery box all the way across here, and that's because we did a couple different things on this one. We'll start from the very far left. There's our pump. This trailer is equipped with electric over hydraulic disc brakes, so that is where that's located. Right next to that is going to be our compressor for our air ride system on this trailer. This is an air ride equipped triple axle. Right there is the actual compressor itself. It's on the trailer. It's not like we have to have a source from the truck. It's all self-contained right there. It's really simple to use. It's on off. It's lower raise, and then there's a drain to actually clear it when you park the trailer to get rid of that air, which can create condensation, and we don't want that because it can freeze and crack. We've done some how-to videos on actually how to operate that we can send to you and shut it down properly in a real condensed version. If you notice, now we start working into batteries, okay? Everything is extremely well labeled from Outlaw. As you can see, we know what battery goes to house, which ones go to air ride, 1, 2, 3. If you start studying the actual wiring behind there, you're gonna start noticing everything is labeled. So when it goes to servicing this actual trailer, maybe it's not with us, maybe it's not with Outlaw, maybe it's just, a service center across the country you need to stop and visit with. Outlaw can help walk them through because everything's color coded, everything's labeled really well for you. If you notice here, we put a 12,000 watt inverter in here. Okay, we're going to talk more about that when we get into the living quarters itself, then what we're doing with that. But we designed this battery box that goes full width so we can accommodate everything underneath there. Then we've got a box that's actually going to house our 2 30-pound propane bottles. It doesn't matter kind of what size LQ, we always upgraded these 30-pound bottles. In our opinion, there's no reason to carry those 20s, with the exception of you can easily exchange those. These 30s you can go get filled, but it's cheaper to go get them filled, but you have so much more capacity. Instead of changing those bottles constantly, let's give you a little bit more capacity, and that's what you have. This box has been redesigned. We kind of had a little gripe because they used to bury this. There used to be a big bar that went across here. So boy, it was tricky getting these bottles out without, beating up your knuckles, and it was hard to get out. Now it's flush mount, and you can literally just unscrew them, undo your bracket, and literally just tip them out, and out you go. So it's so much easier getting them in and out. And that's one thing that we love about Cimarron is we'll throw ideas at them, they'll get to work on it, and they'll get it designed for us to function how we want it. And this is one of those options that we said, hey, let's look at redesigning this, and this is what we came up with. And it's so much easier to actually get those bottles in and out. Okay, here's our switches for are jacks. They're individual, so I can tip the trailer or walk it on to the truck if I'm off a little bit, or if maybe you're on some uneven surfaces and you need to kind of work the trailer one way or the other. It's really nice to be able to do that. Underneath here is going to be our carrier for our hose for our fresh, our gray and black tanks to empty those out. And then we put you a 16-inch awning light underneath here. So it shoots down into this enclosure, because our cargo light's kind of blocked by the nose. Let's give you some light coverage. We've been doing this on a number of trailers, not just our living quarters. Now this coupler right here, this is made by B&W. Yes, the same B&W as the turnover balls. They teamed up years ago. This is a great setup because this has been redesigned about 3 times, and this one here allows for the lower profile handle that allows for one more hole to be drilled into this actual coupler, so we can have a lot of flexibility sliding it within the stem right here. This really comes into play in these bigger trailers. Maybe you have a 450, maybe you have a hauler, maybe you have a semi, something along those lines where we need that flexibility to really slide that coupler within that stem to set it up for our tow vehicle to make sure we have bed clearance, also making sure the trailer's running level. When we got into the hauler scenarios, the older version didn't have this hole, so that was our lowest point. And even then, you watch these trailers kind of run uphill a little bit. Well, we want them to be nice and even and running, you know, perfectly even for weight distribution on those axles themselves and then onto the tow vehicle itself. But that's a great feature right there that gives us a lot of flexibility to set the trailer up how we want. A few years ago, they went to the frameless windows rather than the framed. It's just a sleeker look to them. Then from there, on the exterior here of the Cimarron with the Outlaw, we've got a couple things. One is the awning, okay? That is an electric awning, so it's just push a button out and push a button, it goes in. It's got that aluminum cover on it, which is fantastic, just to protect that fabric itself. We've got a couple exterior speakers. We asked Outlaw a couple years ago. We used to get just the one porch light, and we were just happened to be sitting at a show and we had the awning out, so it blocked that light from up above. And we said, boy, we really need some more lights underneath that awning. So we have a strip light of LED underneath the awning itself, but then we have our porch light right by this door. And if you notice, again, this one's a dual entry or dual exit. However you want to look at it from the LQ, there's another porch light back there. So we have more light underneath the actual awning itself, because you're going to find yourself hanging out here in some chairs, just relaxing, have some light, turn on your speakers, relax, listen to some music, and just kind of entertain from that standpoint. You've got some courtesy lights down low as well. So you got some lower lights. And with it, you're also going to get an outlet, so we can plug something in out here if we need to. It's just nice to have that flexibility to go in. We always do fold-up steps when we get into these, you know, especially 8-wide trailers, but anytime we have these access doors, we like to put those fold-up steps. This trailer is aired up at the moment, so again, it's aired up, so it's actually picked the box up about 2.5, 3 inches, okay? So when you park this, you're loading horses, you're unloading horses, you dump that air, because it'll lower it. That means this step's not as high, neither is the other one, and the ramp isn't as steep for the horses either. So keep that in mind. But these steps make a world of difference when we're going in and out of these trailers themselves. On the door, we've got a snap cover to just give us, you know, a nice privacy and blackout. We've got the soft touch wall material on here, and then we did some shiplap on the door, really dress this trailer up. But let's make our way into this Outlaw conversion, because we're really excited to show you the LQ side of it. Like I mentioned, it's a 610 with the slide. But what we'll do is we'll just start up at the gooseneck area, up in the bed area itself. Up there, you've got some cabinets and then some shelves. We really like the open shelves on the side because, listen, maybe you're taking a water bottle with you to bed. You have some outlets up there, so you need a place to actually put your cell phone to charge up. I've heard so many customers say, well, I've got that cabinet up at the front, I don't have any storage up there, so I have to put my cell phone underneath my pillow or on the side of the mattress, or I'll set it up on top of the valance. That's where I keep it, you know, at night while I'm charging it. Well, we wanted to put some shelves, so we do a lot of inventory trailers with those shelves themselves. Okay, over on the passenger side up at the front, there is a switch, a second switch for the onboard generator. So we have one down in the living area, but one also up in the front there. So in the mornings, if you want to fire up the gin, you can just reach over and hit that and fire it up and you got power. We've got a smart TV up here. Both these TVs in this are smart. We also have Starlink on this. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into this a little bit more. But then from there, as we come out, this is a dual entry into the actual bed area. Okay, that is fantastic. So many customers love that because, listen, on a single entry, you got to crawl over somebody if you need to get up in the middle of the night. Maybe it's go to the bathroom, maybe you got to get up early, whatever it is. Well, you're crawling over them. Well, now you can go either way in and out of that bed area itself, and it does have pocket doors, so there is privacy. So there's sliding pocket doors on either side. We matched it with a shiplap to match on the door itself. Just really ties everything together as far as that's concerned. But because we have a secondary sleeping area down here, if you wanted to shut it up for a little bit more privacy, you can do that. Up above in this cabinet here, there it is. We have Starlink on this trailer. Starlink has become so popular because, one, you can work while you're on the road. Smart TVs, a lot of people are streaming. Why not have that capability? You know, we've heard people talking about, you know, with the inverters and that type of a setup and a booster in their truck, they can actually utilize that while they're driving as well. So that's a really nice feature. Another smart TV right here for you. And then we've got some storage cabinets down below. And then we did an electric fireplace for you. All right. What's really nice about this is, one, it's a good look. It gives some kind of ambiance in here. But a lot of customers have said that is a great heat source as well. Just maybe in the morning, take that little bit of chill off. They can fire that up. You're not using your propane because it's electric. So you're either running off your gen or you're plugged in. So you're getting some heat down low. It's going to blow out and it'll rise up from there throughout the whole trailer itself. But that's where that's located. Underneath the steps, they always try to come up with some storage areas for you. And over here underneath this one, there's our battery disconnect. And then there's our fuse panel and breakers. So if you're looking for those in this trailer specifically, they're normally right inside somewhere by the LQ door. So yes, this one has two, but it's either going to be right over here by the steps or maybe right over to the left, you know, depending on what you have there. In this one here, so we did a corner kind of L-shaped dinette for you. So what's really nice about this is a great setup from the couch standpoint, and then this guy here. You don't have to break down a table and get it out of the way and slide it over by the sofa. This one here has kind of this fixed dinette with this tabletop on it. This guy does push down as well, so you can kind of get it out of the way or create a little bit more of a bench if need be. But it's a great setup. You can just sit here, a couple of you, eat a meal, watch the TV, do some work. You got that Starlink. You can work while you're on the road. And then over in the slide out, that is an HWH hydraulic slide. This is a 78-inch slide. Okay, so then we have the sofa sleeper. We have the real leather backing on it. Okay, that is a great look. We've used this material quite often, and customers really love it as well. And then behind it is actually going to be the water storage back there. So it's a 60-gallon freshwater tank behind the slide out itself. And then if you notice, the slide out is flush to the floor, so it goes to the floor. So it's not like we built, you know, the bottom of the slide out and then set that on there to where you have to step into that area. This is down low, so it's flush. Really nice to go in and out, but it'll break down into a bed for you. Got this seating area. Again, it's really good access to the TV if you're wanting to just sit there and entertain. And then the valances themselves tie in with the accent material on the sofa itself. And then you've got some overhead cabinets as well. And we don't talk about it enough, but these cabinets are unbelievable. Okay, these are custom engineered cabinetry in an Outlaw, which is fantastic because they will actually do a dry run on all these cabinets. So they'll build them, they'll bring it into this trailer, and then they'll sit there and say, okay, you know, this one needs adjusted. Let's take it out, adjust it. once everything's good to go, then they'll stain it. Okay, so this is a knotty alder, and then this is a satin finish that we've been doing. It's a mocha satin finish. That's become a really popular finish on these trailers, but the woodworking is unbelievable. You have a 5-year craftsmanship warranty on the woodworking itself. We'll talk a little bit more about the Outlaw warranty and Cimarron warranty here in a minute, but we just wanted to show you this guy here. We got the corbels on the slide, and then we got that accent material that goes into that. Okay, and then again, that L-shaped dinette ties in with the same. Up above the LQ door, you've got a couple hat racks over there. And then there is a sliding screen door over that door itself. We've actually got controls for the inverter over to the left of that. And then there's all our switches for lights. That inverter is actually going to power the TVs in the Starlink. So that's why you can actually, in the morning, if you want, you can just fire that up. Maybe you're running your Wi-Fi. You can stream some shows without firing anything up with that inverter itself. And then just to the right of the door, there's going to be controls for the onboard gen. There's that second, the main switch is what we would call it, on-off switch here. And then we have our hydraulics, we have our awning, and then we have our electric water heater located right there. But we tried to get you a lot of cabinet space, so there's cabinet space above the L-shaped dinette as well. And then even as we get into the kitchen area, cabinets there, another access there for some storage, and then we've got the convection microwave oven. So it takes a little bit bigger footprint than a microwave, but you have that capability to run that convection oven in this setup here. On the kitchen area itself, we've got a cover for the cooktop, 2-burner. So if you need some additional counter space, you can just set that down. You can utilize that. Even a cover for that quartz sink. We always tell Outlaw, hey, get as big a sink as you can for this setup and as deep as you can, because we really feel like a lot of times those get to be a little bit too small. Tile from the counter to overhead cabinets, so that's an upgrade. Again, this ties in really well. This has got kind of some brown and some turquoise. I think it just works really well with this whole color package. Just turned out extremely well. Because this is a 1610 short wall, 50 amp service on this. So we have dual ACs, obviously ducted. We have two 15K BTU air conditioners on this. We have a 25K ducted heater as well. So that ducting, really you can shut it down in certain areas and force it more up into the neck, force it more into the bathroom, shut those down. I mean, it really allows that ducting to just give this a more consistent temperature throughout the entire living quarters than if it were just trying to get air from right here at the actual air conditioner itself. But that ducting really comes into play there. Okay, we have a 6.0 refrigerator and freezer. So you do have that separate fridge and freezer that just gives you that much more storage. More than likely at this trailer, you're gonna be gone for a long period of time or multiple periods of the time, so it's nice to have that. We got some cabinet space up above the refrigerator itself. Kind of a pantry area to the left of that. And then my favorite, because this is always interesting looking at trades, the slide out trash can. Whenever I look at trades, a lot of times if this isn't accounted for, the trash can is randomly set on the floor somewhere. You're always moving it to try to get into certain things. We always like to, if we can, get you a slide out. That way it has a place to live. It's out of the way. It's not an eyesore. You don't have to move it. There it is. In the kitchen area itself too, you're gonna have a little bit of storage underneath here. Our hot water heater is located underneath there, but then we do have some pull-out drawers for you. So good storage there as well. And then as we come into the bathroom, we have a pocket door. On the back side of it, it's gonna have a mirror to it. But as we come in, this is a great setup because with this access door coming into the bathroom itself, you can use this as a mudroom. Okay, I don't have to track in. I can kick dirty boots off. I can come in here. I can hop in the shower whenever I need to. I don't necessarily have to drag it all the way through the LQ. And it's just nice to have that dual entry. And that's mainly the main part of it, is kind of that mudroom, but also just stepping into the bathroom itself. So we'll kind of start over here to the right. We've got that porcelain toilet. We upgraded to the wood with the accent material on top. So again, it just ties everything together itself. Behind it is going to be some storage with adjustable shelves, so you can really set this up how you want it to. Bathroom vanity has dual doors for the mirror. I'm a big fan of. One of the very early ones we kind of built in this type of setup and size had one. And boy, you had to duck out of the way when it came swinging open because it was just so large. We said, hey, split that in half. But as you can see, a lot of storage here. They've done a great job putting a lip so it holds items in there for you as well. A lot of counter space. This one does not have the pass-through door, so it allows us to have more counter space. And another big deep quartz sink on this one. Again, not trying to get you that little tiny, you know, cereal bowl for a sink itself. We're trying to give you a little bit more there. Same thing with the tile from the counter to the overhead cabinet there. Nice upgrade. And then down below we've got some storage. Everything's really well labeled, like I mentioned. As you can see right here, this has got this false cover that I can take out, but it says right on it, drain valves. So items that we need to get to and access to just maintain the trailer. Maybe it's winterizing it, de-winterizing it, working on it. We can get to a lot of things really, really well. I give them a ton of credit. Great lighting up above this vanity as well, and with the light underneath. A lot of times you just see some light up above and there's no light down here, and depending on how deep those vanities are, this can kind of get really dark and become a dungeon almost as we get into the trailers themselves. And then we have the radius shower with the skylight, so it gives you a little bit more headroom. Natural lighting coming in here as well. We do have a power vent up above, so we can pull air in, pull air out. And then we have a storage cabinet back here. We have 2 close rods in here, the automatic lights as well. So when you open these guys up, they turn on, and when we shut them, they turn off. One thing that when we were making our final changes and looking at the trailer itself, is this was gonna have some cabinet doors. And we always feel like there's never enough drawers in these trailers, okay? You know, I get it. Like, where are you gonna put your socks? Those type of things, you know? So we said, hey, if we can, let's put a nice big deep drawer underneath there. They accommodated for us. It's in the bathroom here for you. So those type of things we just try to look at and say, okay, how can we improve the trailer a little bit more by actually having those type of storage areas. Again, screen door on the outside of this one as well. We did the shiplap on this door, so both of them match for you. You have a grab handle at each door as well. These will light up. We did combo locks on the doors, so you can just do a combo rather than actually utilizing a key if need be. If these is locked with a key, you have to have the key, but if you want to, you can just do the combo lock. And then we have been putting on a lot of our LQs this larger rotary latch, okay? Instead of the real small latches where it's really hard to get, you know, 3 or 2 fingers in there to open it up. This is a nice big latch, this rotary style here, so it's easier to grab a hold of and open up there. And then again, fold up step going into the actual LQ itself. Now, we ran the extrusion all the way up to the nose on this one, just really dresses this trailer up. I want you to notice too that we did polished finish on this one, okay? So this is a polish rather than the mill finish. So one thing you have to do when we're actually gonna go and wash this trailer is you want to citrus wash it, not acid wash it. Acid will burn it. The citrus is just a brightener. Obviously these polished trailers, they'll take a little bit more. I mean, if you don't want any water spots at all, there's 2 things you can do. Grab a towel and hand dry it and just make sure it's dry. I kind of like the other option of going maybe about 75 down the interstate for a little while, letting it air dry, and maybe there's a spot or 2 that you have to touch with a towel. But you will have to handle that a little bit different, but I love that it extends all the way up to the front. It really just blends in and ties in with the trailer itself. And again, there's that big awning, so you have a lot of space out here to actually entertain outside the LQ. Now, warranty, okay, I talked briefly about that. On the Cimarron side of things, you're gonna have an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty. All right, Outlaw. We talked about the craftsmanship on the woodwork, 5, but you have a 3-year Outlaw warranty, and that really comes into play because some other conversion companies will offer quote unquote 3, that's on their woodworking, their craftsmanship, but they'll offer a 1-year on the components. But if Outlaw puts the components on this trailer, those ACs, the generator, those type of things, if the manufacturer has a 1-year warranty on them, Outlaw is going to cover them for 3. The other cool thing is you have the ability to call in 24/7, 365 and get a hold of Outlaw's service center. If you do have some issues, they can walk you through it. Obviously, emergencies are a little bit different than, hey, I got this light out, or hey, this isn't turning on, you know, in the middle of the night, you know, can it wait until the next day probably, and then they can help you get it taken care of and direct you to those type of service centers to get the work actually done on the trailer itself. But combining Cimarron and Outlaw, it's the only trailer manufacturer that has that 3-year covered from both sides, okay? So that is a real benefit to you as a consumer to know that you have that warranty for those 3 years. All right, this is an integrated pod. So as you can see, I've got the lid open. I'll get you up there and we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. This thing has a ton of button lights on it. We also have a couple 16-inch awning lights out here, and then we'll work down into the stall area. We've got drop-down windows, tail side, with bus windows within them. So you can really manipulate airflow on this trailer and get a lot of airflow on this trailer because you do have these drop windows. All right, and if you need to shut them up a little bit, you can, and utilize that sliding bus window. We also have this amber turn signal. That's something we do on a lot of our inventory here at Transwest. We love it because look, 37.3 on the floor, and our truck's way up there, and our tail lights are way at the back, and the truck turn signal's way up there. That guy there will work as a marker light for you, a big one, but also work as a turn signal or a brake light. It will indicate any of those. So we like them on these 8 wide and longer trailers just to, from a safety standpoint. I mean, you'll see it time and time again. Maybe somebody's right at the back of the trailer and they don't see that tail light, and maybe they don't quite see your truck. That guy will turn on and flash. Maybe they'll give you some space. We're just trying to, you know, make people aware of us is what we're really trying to do. Talked about air ride. This is an air ride equipped trailer. So we have 3 8,000-pound axles. This is the Airflex system by Dexter. So you have a rubber torsion axle, the shock kits, and the air ride system itself. Like I said, it's picked up about 2.5 to 3 inches. If for some reason something happens to your air ride system, compressor, a line, a bag, it'll set down, but you can still move it. The old air ride systems, you couldn't move the trailers. You're fine to move this trailer. It's basically rubbing on rubber torsion axles at that point. You get to where you need to, and you get it addressed and fixed. We did 17.5-inch Alcoas, 18-ply Continentals, and like I mentioned earlier, electric over hydraulic disc brakes. So unbelievable running gear. We're going to talk more about this triple axle and turning a triple here in a little bit because we've got a little exclusive option that we put on our triple axle air rides here at Transwest. It's really going to help this trailer turn and not put as much stress on the axles themselves from there. But air ride, we've got numerous customers that'll give you testimonials on what they think of it. We've got videos of horses acting completely different from air ride on versus air ride off. You know, a great example is a horse on here with air ride. He's standing square underneath himself. He's perfectly calm, ears forward, not moving hardly at all. And then we flipped it and we turned the air ride off. So it was on these rubber torsion axles, did the same path, and you would have thought it was a different horse. He was not happy. He was spread out to brace himself, ears pinned, kicking the ever-living you-know-what out of the tail side of that trailer. Now imagine doing that for 5 to 6 hours, 8 hours drive time. I mean, they are exhausted and wore out by the time they step off the trailer. That's not what we want. We want them to go compete. We want them to stay healthy. Air ride is the way to go. It is an upgrade, but we are big believers in it. We carry a lot of inventory with air ride, not just LQs, trainer trailers, shoot, pig trailers, show cattle trailers. I mean, we do it a lot in this air ride system. So again, we're big believers in it. We can send you videos, we can talk more about it, but all I can tell you is we have a large investment on this trailer with horses, correct? And it's a large investment in the equipment itself. Let's protect it. The trailer is going to ride better. It's going to pull better for you in the pickup. but more importantly for the animals we have on here, these horses are going to ride so much better on air ride versus not. All right, so this is kind of a big reveal. We've been working on this for a while. If you kind of aren't paying attention, just kind of look at this trailer, you might be like, oh, okay, well, it's a rear load. Well, it's not, because it's actually hidden. This is a rear side load, but we're calling this a store and load, okay? So what we did was we had a customer say, hey, you know what would be cool? Because it'd be cool not to have a side ramp sticking off the side of that trailer that I gotta look down. Okay, well, we got with Cimarron, we bounced ideas back and forth, and we came up with this, again, store and load. So as you can see, we do not have a ramp over the side of the trailer. The ramp itself is built into the trailer itself. We got you a grab handle, so it's really easy to drop down. And then we've got this flip up door up at the top. So everything is nice and smooth and flush when you look down the side of the trailer. In fact, we did a side-by-side picture of just comparing the two. And as you can see, this store and load, you look down the side, it is nice and smooth. You don't realize it's there. And then on the other side, the right-hand side picture, you have that ramp over that you have to look around, okay? So we're really excited about this. We wanted to show you this. There's a couple things that really come into play here too, not just the ramp over it. Store and load, okay? We have storage. So if we look here to the back, we got you basically kind of a little closet back there. All right, well, look what we got back here. We got some items that you're normally maybe gonna need for this trailer, right? Got a broom, got a fork here, we need to pick out some manure, we can do that, right? So we have these hooks, maybe you even wanna throw some halters and lead ropes here, an extra one just traveling. You never know when you get into an emergency situation, you just need one of those. You can have that stored right here, carpet behind it. Then from there, down on the floor, we actually did a little bit of worm flooring because the rest of the trailer has worm, and there is a drain hole, so it's really easy to clean out as well. All right, and then we did an LED light in there for you, so you can see really well within this trailer, but we gave you a little storage area within this. Normally, we'd have our rear tack on the other side, and this is basically just a wall. So it allows you to have some storage right here, accessible going into the actual stall area itself. We have our ramp going in. Here's another thing I want you to pay attention to, is normally with a rear side load, we would have a fixed post right here. Okay, so that post is gonna stick into the stall area a little bit. So as horses are backing out, they have the potential of hitting that and bouncing off. Well, what did we create? We created a smooth transition for our horses coming off this rear side load, or as we call it again, a store and load. So a lot smoother for the horses, a lot easier getting out. And then as we work in, you've got a butt strap that goes across. This back stall is a little bit bigger. It's 48 inches. To give us a little bit more room for horses going around here. But if you look at where this divider is and where the wheel well and door frame, it gets a little tight, right? Well, Cimarron's got their breakover divider, gets out of the way. Now it's so much easier for horses going out. Typically coming in, not a big deal. They can make that turn real easily. But going backwards, to get their hip going, turned and down, to get their shoulder in front of them to go down that ramp, we need that extra space. So we have that breakover that gets out of the way, but that rear stall is a touch bigger just to give us a little bit more room. Obviously, as you come in, you're gonna notice that worm flooring. You don't have to pull mats on these loads. Boy, I tell you what, you don't want to pull mats out. It's really difficult, but it's permanent, it's unpenetrable. You don't have to wrestle those mats. Again, a nice smooth transition going in and out of here. Great grip to worm as well. But then if you start noticing, I'm opening up these dividers, airflow dividers, manger head grills, those are airflow as well. So again, creating airflow, keeping the horses nice and comfortable. This has it with drops, and then drops I'll show you on head side as well when we get over there. But if you wanted a solid, it's easier for us to build them with the bars themselves and then do a plate over it rather than going the other way, because we're having to completely rebuild a divider to go from a solid, you know, maybe head grill over to the airflow type setup. So we normally do that. Divider number one is a stud divider. Okay, so maybe it's additional storage, maybe you got somebody you need to separate. It's nice to have the stud divider for that. Pads on them as well. And then everything is one-handed operation. So opening this divider, shutting it, very, very smooth and easy. Everything's recessed as well. So this is a cast aluminum piece that's powder coated. Everything has a radius and smooth. Heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch. They're really strong, but it's not metal to metal contact, creating noise, creating a lot of rattle. So it's quieter for the horses themselves by having that. And again, it's really easy to slam and open. From a safety standpoint, it's definitely nice to just push a divider shut rather than having to hold it and pin it. But once you start putting your hands on it, I know obviously with the video it's hard to do, but put your hands on dividers, even these tubes that they have for the airflow, everything has a radius to it. Everything is smooth, no 90-degree angles, nothing sharp, nothing protruding out. Horse safety, give Cimarron a ton of credit for that, to really just allow for a safe ride for the horses themselves. Because it's an integrated pod, you have this drop ceiling. So in this stall area, we're a 7'10" tall trailer. We're gonna drop it down 7 inches. We are 7'3" tall in here, okay? So keep that in mind, 7'3" tall, still extra tall compared to a 7-footer. But that's because we need to accommodate for that integrated pod up above. 4 LED lights, one above each horse. These are the big Optibrights. So these put off a ton of light themselves. With all this white sheeting, boy, does it shoot off and reflect. I mean, it really brightens the stall area up when you are somewhere dark and needing to load or unload. Now, with this ceiling above it, you're still gonna get Cimarron's insulated roof. That is standard on every single Cimarron, doesn't matter what model it is. So we have that insulated roof up on top, so it really protects from hail. It's really, really strong and durable. You can walk on it. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot, but it keeps the stall area 20% cooler. So again, making horses more cool, more comfortable, especially traveling in those hot summer months. Kick mat all the way around. I'll show you the mangers when we get to the outside of the trailer itself. Underneath this Werm flooring is the industry's best floor. That's what Cimarron has. It is an extruded piece, a 12-inch piece of decking that locks in high and low like tongue and groove, but 2 points of contact rather than one. One has the ability to have a lot more flex to it, not on this guy. Those centers are every 4 inches apart. So basically the long and short of it is, wherever you have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on one, if not 2 support beams all the way across the entire length of this trailer. So you have the industry's best floor. It's like building a house. Well, this is a custom house, right guys? Why not start with a strong foundation? And you have that with a Cimarron. On the back corner here, we did a drain hole right back there as well. I showed you there's one in that storage area, but there's one there at the back. That way, when you're actually just hosing this thing out, you're not having to try to figure out how to get that water out of this, because we have this little bit of a lip here as we're going out of the trailer itself. So we went ahead and got a drain hole there for you with that plug. So as you can see, you know, we're really excited about this store and load for multiple reasons. One, we got rid of that ramp on the outside that you have to see around, or even other people have to see around. We always have to be aware of the other people when we're driving, because I hate to say it, they really don't pay attention to us with these trailers. So we have to be conscious and aware of them. But a smooth transition going in and out for your horses, all right? We have that storage as well. This door here, it's on a gas shock. So you have this strap to pull down, and then our ramp goes over it. We did put a bus window in there, so if you wanted a little bit of airflow in that rear stall too, you can open that guy up. But I believe wholeheartedly, with the amount of airflow we have with the drop windows, head side, tail side, that insulated roof, all the airflow dividers, you're gonna have more than enough airflow in this trailer itself. And then when you go to shut it, again, it just blends in with the side of the trailer. And again, if you're not looking for it, you really don't know it's there. They did a great job on the spring, so it's really easy, and again with that grab handle to pull it down itself. We'll look down it here in a second when we get done with the rear tack and I shut up these rear doors. But we'll make our way to the back because this is a full width rear tack. And who doesn't love a full width rear tack because of all the tack space and the storage you're gonna get. So we have dual 50/50 doors on the back here. As you can see, the door on the right is gonna be fully carpeted with a 4-tier blanket upholstery. It's on a gas shock that swings out. So you can put them on there. It's going to protect there. It has this 2-point internal locking mechanism because this door is going to shut first and then the other door is going to shut over it. All right. So that's why that one has that piece there. The one on the left, fully carpeted again, set of bridle hooks. Those are aluminum powder coated. So those guys are really stout. You would have noticed those in the storage portion of the store and load on the side there. Fully carpeted behind there, brush tray. It's a great catch-all. If you wanted to add another one to that door, you could. But we got you one there that's going to store a lot of items for you. And then within the tack itself, it's fully carpeted. So on these rear tacks, we fully carpet them, the doors, and then within the actual trailer itself. So on your partition wall, you're going to notice fully carpeted with, again, bridle hooks here. Over on this right side, remember, that's that storage. So this is on the back side of that storage. We did a set of utility hooks. So if you look at the difference between the normal set of bridle hooks and the utility hooks, in this section here, there's 4 of them. But look at the spacing between them, the depth and height off of them, okay, compared to the bridle hooks. So maybe you've got a big, you know, a hose, maybe pack an extension cord, maybe you got some bigger items you want to hang. That's what these guys here for. They're aluminum powder coated as well, but they did a great job with the height and depth off the wall of their bridle hooks, in my opinion, compared to a lot of others out there. You can store a lot right there. Okay, so that's a rope holder, carpeted rope holder. We looked at it and said, well, maybe they want to hang some ropes. Maybe that's a good place for your big 50 amp cord. So we threw that on there. It kind of feels like you're always trying to find places for items where they're going to store and stay organized. We see it a lot of times, again, looking at trades, the cords just kind of get thrown in a manger here at the back. Well, guess what? Now we can roll it up and store it over here. Maybe you wanted to add more of those in there, within the tack, we can for ropes, whatever you want. But we threw the 50 amp cord on there for that reason, is why we put that right there. We also had Outlaw install 120 volt outlets back here for you. We're starting to see that more and more. Customers wanting an outlet here at the back. You know, depending on what you're wanting to do, some people take a little fridge or, some of those little coolers that you can plug in, store some items. Maybe you just need to do something back here with a set of clippers or, whatever you need to, or charge up a phone even. Heck, you've got that capability, so that outlet is there. We did a shelf all the way across. It has a 2-inch lip, so we can throw items up there. We don't have to worry about them. It's 18 inches deep, so it's got a lot of depth to it. And again, it goes all the way across. We get to the front part of the rear tack. That is going to be our fuel tank for the onboard gen. So I'll show you the fill when we get to the outside. We did another set of hooks back behind there. Threw another brush tray on this wall. Sometimes there's items you need to carry that you don't need to get to all the time. This is a great place here. And then we threw the spare tire back behind the swing out saddle rack. It's just a lot easier. These are big, heavy tires, okay? These 17.5-inch Alcoas with these huge 18-ply Continentals. Sometimes some people can't manage to get them out of that front end as easily. So this one here, it's a lot easier to get out of the trailer itself by having it in the back. And then we've got our swing out saddle rack. We did 4 saddle pads on this one. They're fully carpeted. These are adjustable, so we can slide them where we want. Maybe space them, maybe I need to add one, maybe I need to get rid of one, but you have that capability. And then you've got them out here on ground level as well. Keep in mind, we are aired up again, so we're a little bit taller. Again, when you're working off the trailer, loading, unloading, I always say air it down, turn off the system, everything's lower to the ground. That side ramp isn't as steep. I think I failed to mention on that side ramp too, that it allows us to make that a little bit longer. So it has a little bit more reach, so it's not as steep versus the ramp over as well. Have a couple of those OptiBrite lights up here in the ceiling for you. So good light coverage. It's out away from this shelf, so it's not going to get covered up and the light's just going to be hitting the shelf. They're closer to the door, so where again we can actually get that light coverage throughout the tack itself. And then you actually have rubber on the floor, but there's still a lot of floor space if you're needing to throw some items in this trailer itself. Your buckets, maybe a wheelbarrow, a muck bucket, something along those lines. But again, I can shut that. That's a slam latch on that internal 2-point mechanism, and then that left-hand door goes over that, and we have a combo lock here at the back as well for this guy. So again, if you don't necessarily have the keys, you lock that up. Somebody can, you can punch the code in, run to the trailer. You don't have to go looking for those. So I've got the door shut. So if we look just briefly down, like you kind of saw in that picture, well, guess what? Again, that smooth transition with that ramp that's built in there for that store and load type setup. Again, we've got, and maybe if this isn't the trailer you're looking for, we've got some other 4s and 5s on order already with this setup. So we've got some other options coming down the line for you. Okay, if we get to the back here, now we're all shut up. If we look to the right, there is our box for our generator. Okay, our onboard generator is an Onan 7000 gas gen, because remember, this is 50 amp service. So you have that 7K capability to run all that. We have the pedestal lights on the rear back here. They're protected. We like the awning lights that you saw on the sides of the trailer because they don't stick up and off. But at the back here, we can actually tip those down a little bit if we need to. It's nice to have that light coverage there. We did the gate across the back. We can swing that out of the way if we need to get up there and work on that generator or do something along those lines, but it's nice to have that added protection when you're up there itself. Our rear tail lights actually have built-in backup lights as well, so when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, that's what that white X that you see there, those will actually turn white, and then you have that coverage. Fold-up steps going into that tack as well, and then you have Cimarron's easy angle ladder. So instead of going straight up the side of this with a bolt on, you actually have this easy angle that extends out and away from the trailer, so it's so easy getting up and down. Imagine carrying your hay bags, whether it's up or down, or maybe you got buckets up there, whatever it is. You have something in your hand. Going up a bolt-on ladder is dang near impossible when you're carrying something. But just like at home, if you need to, you got a ladder that you need to lean up against something, we can actually carry items and get up there. In fact, I'm gonna grab the camera and I'm gonna take you up top there, and we're actually gonna look at this pod itself and what else we've got going on. So again, with one hand, I can make my way up into the rear deck area. Here behind the hay pod, we actually did a couple strips of this airliner track that you can buy some cool little hooks and things like that off of Amazon. So in this deck area, if you wanted to throw a wheelbarrow up here or have some other items you need to strap down, you can put your hooks within that airliner track, strap it down, bungee it down, whatever you need to, and it secures. So again, you have the gate, and then there's our box for that onboard generator. And then we have our hay pod. Great storage within this. Diamond plate on the floor, so it's got good grip. You need to clean it out. It's got a drain hole as well for you. The material that they used to use for their hay pods used to be aluminum sheeting. Well, if you got hail, typically the rest of the trailer's fine because it has that insulated roof, but the pods would get dings on them. Well, we asked, hey, can you go ahead and put some extra, if you've got some extra roof material, why wouldn't you do that on your pod lids? And Cimarron did. So we have that added protection. You're gonna get these big gas shocks on either side to open and close this and keep it open when you need to, and a strap to actually go ahead and shut it. And then they've given you a nice big walk area to get through. So they did this V shape here and then made you just a little bit of lip to step over, but we do need to secure it, so that's why it comes down into that frame and then locks into place. but allows such an easy transition going in and out. It's not like we have to step over this to get into the pod. It's just that little lip right there. One other thing that we have up here, as I start making my way down, is we actually have an LED light up here in the area as well. So you actually have a light up here if you're needing to work on the gin, if you're needing to get, again, filling hay bags, getting hay out of the pod itself, you actually have some light up in the hay pod area. And again, the cool thing about this is it just flips up and stores, it locks in, it's got a foot to rest in, but then we have one of these black vise latches here that's keyed like the rest of the trailer. So everything is keyed like on here. Your drop down feed doors, your LQ doors, tack door, this guy here, mangers, whatever it is, it will have the same key. So if you want to secure it, you can. You do have your steps that fold up that are going to secure it as well. Over here on driver's side, right here is going to be our fill for that generator, okay? That 7K gas gen fill is right here. So we can fuel our truck up at a pump, pull up to the gas pump. It's on that same side, driver's side, so you can pull up and fuel that guy up right there. A couple of those 16-inch awning lights back here for you. They, again, shoot down and out, so a good amount of light coverage. And then over here on driver's side, you're gonna have your drop-down feed doors, but you're also gonna get the jail bars, okay? So if you need to maybe offer some more feed, some water, you can easily lift up. It's on a track, and they just fold down just like that. Cimarron's come out here recently with some window screens that they teamed up with Professional Choice that fit over these existing ones. There's no install besides you doing it. That slip right over these guys, so if you wanted to add those, you could. But again, it just lifts up and drops into that track. And then from there, I can shut all these guys up. They have the bus window within them as well. So again, you can manipulate airflow. If you have too much, you can shut these up, utilize the bus windows. On the escape door, you're gonna have a little bit smaller drop-down feed door because we have to work within the framework of the door itself. But we have manger storage, but then also this guy here has the manger on the door itself, and then we can access that first stall from right there. But we did go ahead and put that manger on this trailer itself. And then again, fold up step for you. Again, access point, no running board because it's 8 foot wide. And then we've got our manger storage as well. There is LED lights in here. These guys here are going to be on a switch directly on the light itself. So you'll have to physically turn these guys on, just because you don't want to just accidentally turn on a switch on at the back and think, oh, well, I don't have any lights on the outside. You can't see it because the manger doors are shut and them draining batteries down. But plenty of storage on this. Love to have this manger storage. It also has 3 access points to it. And then again, you've got the one on the door itself. Now, we kind of briefly talked about the axles. The knock on a triple axle is it's really hard to turn. It puts a lot of stress on the axles, you know, your hubs, your sidewalls, everything. If you pull one of these triple axles and you crank it around and you look in your mirror, everything's fighting each other. Everything's going different directions. So what we've done is we've gone in and we've done an air dump, okay? We put an air dump on your front axle, and that is a Transwest exclusive. So what we can do is we can actually dump the air. Instead of this being our pivot point, it moves it back here. We put the weight to the back 2 axles. We don't physically pick this up, okay? But it will skate. It pushes the weight to the back 2 axles. Okay, the back 2 axles then move the weight away from the truck, so it puts a little bit more tongue weight on the truck and takes a little bit off the trailer from that standpoint. So when we do that, we can crank these big triples around more like a tandem axle, all right? And what's really cool is we give you one of these little fobs, okay? A remote. And what we can do is we can actually sit in the truck from the driver's seat, and I can hit on, and this light right here will flash at you. That means that we are dumping the air out of that front axle, and that weight's going to the back 2 axles. We put it right here, so when you look down your mirror, driver's side mirror, it's going to be right in your eye line. We used to just make it a solid light. Now we make it to where it flashes. So if it accidentally gets bumped, it catches your eye. You know, this is somewhere you need to keep where it's available and handy, but not somewhere where it can get bumped. Because what we don't want is we don't want to dump that. You're running 80 miles per hour and hit your brakes really hard. Well, we don't have as much resistance, so you can flat spot a tire. So you just got to be aware and keep this somewhere safe. But this is going to be utilized when you're cranking a trailer around, turning really, really tight somewhere. You know, especially asphalt in the summer. You know, gravel has more give to it, so it's not as you know, useful in that standpoint. It still does help get all that that pressure away and move it to those back axles. Then I hit off, and it just turns that off. Then what we might hear is we might actually hear the compressor kick on, because now we're putting weight back to this front bag, and we're accounting for that weight transition itself. But believe me, this makes a world of difference on these big air ride trailers to crank them around. It's so nice to have a triple axle the way they pull, extra set of wheels and tires on the ground, extra set of brakes for you, and boy, do they just pull great going down the road. Everybody loves pulling a triple when you're going straight. It's when you're turning them. So we've helped alleviate that by doing the air dump, and again, that's exclusive here at Transwest. City water connection. And then below we have our black tank and then our gray tank access to go ahead and drop those. Slide out. Slide out's going to have one of those frameless windows on the exterior on this side. Water fill for that fresh water tank. Again, that's behind that sofa there. And then on the sides, we're going to have the framed windows. That's just because those frameless ones protrude out. And guess what? We have to move that slide out in and out, so we don't want that. And then you have your awning cover, that boxed awning that goes over, that's going to go over that actual opening itself of the slide out. There's our plug-in inlet for the 50 amp cord, and then an exterior spigot as well. So if you need to just rinse off your hands, fill up a bucket, water the dog, whatever you need to, hose off a dirty kid, you've got that right here at the trailer. All right, guys. I don't think I missed anything, but again, this thing has so many options and bells and whistles on it. And again, it has that new store and load. But boy, we are excited to show you this one. If you want more information on the trailer, we can get you that. We can do, you know, specific videos if you're wanting to do something, get you some measurements, whatever you need to. But I'm going to give you the stock number for reference. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters air ride with Outlaw. Stock number 5N250917. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Delivery is an option. We could potentially bring it to your doorstep, and also financing is available. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.